I'm Barry Funkhauser, and this is the Barry Funkhauser Show. Here's what's going on today. Hump Day. The debate continues over proposed gas stove ban. 2 planes at JFK Airport nearly crashed into each other on the runway. And the United States will hit the debt ceiling. As always, I'm here with my co-host and general know-it-all, current events guy, Joe. Hello, Joe.
Ceiling?
Ceiling?
Really? Ceiling?
Well, if you're going to hit it, it's going to sound like that.
We're pronouncing the G in the ing now. Ceiling?
When you're about to hit it, yes, you pronounce it heavily.
Gotcha.
Hey, so yesterday, Joe, it was a funny story yesterday. Something happened to me that was quite humorous. So I went to Dunkin'. Familiar with the coffee chain restaurant?
Dunkin' Donuts? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we go pull into the driveway, a little carport there, and something greets us outside. It's a chicken. Just
wait, at the Dunkin' Donuts?
Wandering around the parking lot, a chicken. That very beautiful chicken, well cared for chicken, got a blue tail kind of chicken.
Oh, okay.
And I was with the sweetie. Sweetie says, "Well, where do you think this chicken came from? We gotta do something about this chicken.
Save the chickens.
This chicken's gonna get hurt." And I said, "Well, chickens can't fly. They don't go too far from home. So I bet this chicken lives somewhere in the neighborhood. It'll find its way home. She'll go back home when the sun goes down." But, I thought it would be more of an emergency, so I went inside of the Dunkin' and I kind of said, "Attention everyone, there's a chicken out front. There is a chicken. Be on the lookout for this chicken." So that was exciting to see an animal in the wild. And
So wait, did everybody just turn around and look at you like you were like a crazy lunatic?
not one person cared, noticed, or was worried about the chicken.
Welcome to Los Angeles County, everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, was that Los Angeles or Ventura County?
It was up here in my neck of the
It was
woods.
up there. Okay. So
I mean, you probably wouldn't run into a chicken in LA County. And if you did, then you probably would do more about it, I would think. But I'm more rural. So it's not that big of a,
And I gotta get you out to one of the islands that's not Oahu, because man, there are chickens all over Hawaii, everywhere. Like, it was crazy when our first trip to Hawaii, like, we had no idea. We were, I wouldn't say stupid kids, but we were younger. And we when Linda won this trip through her previous company to go to Maui, we had only been dating for 6 months. This basically locked in the deal for me. I was like, this one wants to take me to Maui? Yes, marry this woman. We didn't do any research. We were just like, oh, super excited about going to Hawaii. It was a lifelong dream for me, and she was just really excited to be laying by a really nice pool. So when we went, I'm adventurous. I like to do adventurous stuff. So I signed us up for the Sunrise Mountain Bike Tour, the volcano bike tour.
Oh, awesome. How long is that? A couple miles? Or?
A couple miles. Wow, man. Okay. No, it's a lot. So
like an all-day trip.
Yeah, basically. The volcano's the island is basically an 8 on its side. Okay. The island of Maui. The right-hand side part of the 8 is larger than the left-hand side part of the 8, but the volcano's on the right part of the 8. And all the hotels and stuff are on the west coast of Maui. At least Lahaina is, and that's where we were staying. So they pick us up at 3 a.m. and you drive to the top of the volcano. It's like 8,000 feet or so. Yeah, about 8,000 feet. And then you watch the sunrise come over, and it's like all foggy and stuff. It's super cool. It was so early in the morning, though. Oh my gosh. So you go, you watch the sunrise. It's stupid cold at the top of the mountain before the sun comes up. And then they give you mountain bikes, and you just ride all the way down the mountain, and you ride through basically rural Maui, going down.
Wow.
And once you get down from, okay, so it's like switchback, super, super hairy, like 20-degree grades and stuff. Once you get past all the hairy stuff and you're like just like cruising around like the rural, basically the farmland of Maui, there are chickens everywhere. Thousands of wild chickens just all over the interior of the island. All over the place. It's crazy.
I love it.
You would like it. Yeah, there's like rodeos there. Like one of the directions was make a left at the old abandoned rodeo. And we're like, what are you talking about? I guess Filipino cowboys were like a big thing back in the late 1800s, early 1900s in Hawaii. And yeah, everybody brought over chickens, and all the Europeans brought over chickens, and they just went nuts on these islands. So yeah, you can go over there and you could be a chicken farmer like all you want. They would love it. You could wrangle chickens all day long, Barry.
Man, you may have convinced me to go to Hawaii because, most people go to like do snorkeling or hang out on the beach. I'm out hunting chickens.
Oh, man. I think that you probably wouldn't spend a single second on a beach. You would be like in the interior of the island, just checking out all the farmland stuff because there is some incredible farmland in Hawaii. Not on, you know what? Actually, even on Oahu, you go to the interior of Oahu, that's where the big Dole plantation is. There's a bunch of other farmland.
Oh, man, pineapples and sugar cane. Mm-hmm. Coffee.
So good. But if you want to go and you want to get like actual rural farmland, go to the Big Island. They have crazy amounts of farmland there and just amazing stuff because it's all volcanic soil. And that stuff is just so packed with nutrients that it gives all of the things grown in Hawaii just like a spectacular flavor. So yeah, get over there, man. We'll take a trip together. It'll be great.
Yeah,
just save up $5,000 so we can go for like a long weekend.
No problem. All right, let's get into some nudes today. Los Angeles has already banned most gas appliances in new constructions, but federal regulators are now debating whether gas stoves are making people sick.
I think people ought to be able to choose whether they want to use gas or electric in their own home.
A proposed gas stove ban is getting heated.
I prefer to cook on gas myself, so until I'm forced to go to electric, I'll stick with gas.
Nearly 40% of homes have gas stoves, as many cooks prefer them. But the heat was on after the Consumer Product Safety Commission said it would consider banning gas stoves due to health hazards. The CPSC is now walking those comments back, but says it is looking at strengthening safety standards. Researchers at Consumer Reports explain gas burners emit dangerous pollutants into the air.
One is carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, which we've known about for a long time. But recent studies, including some that we've done at Consumer Reports, have found that nitrogen oxides are also created inside the home when you're turning on a gas burner.
Recent reports say those emissions can cause heart issues, cancer, and respiratory illnesses.
Nitrogen oxides are known to exacerbate existing lung conditions and respiratory illnesses. And in fact, a big new study that came out recently found that roughly 12.7% of all childhood asthma cases can be linked to a gas range.
But in a statement, the American Gas Association points to a 2013 Lancet respiratory medicine study that detected no evidence of an association between the use of gas as a cooking fuel and either asthma symptoms or an asthma diagnosis. The CPSC says any new regulations would concern new stoves, saying no one is coming for your existing stove. And that could include requiring hoods or ducted hoods that vent outside.
So the ongoing debate of gas. Did you get your gas bill yet, Joe, in the mail for this year or this month?
I got the email that said, hey,
like warning. Hey,
I want to just let you know that heads up, there's going to be an increase in your natural gas bill this month. Just want to warn you so you don't call us in droves of hundreds of thousands of people complaining about the increase in your costs. Yeah, I got that.
It's not a mistake, man. And it's so buddy of the gas company to send you that. It's like, hey, you read it just so perfectly, just so you know.
Well, I get it. Well, actually, this is good customer service for any kind of company, not just like a public utility. But man, if something's going to come up and you got to get ahead of things, be honest about it with your consumers, and don't act like you're hiding something. If they didn't tell people about this increase and just dumped it on people, that would cause just like the headache, like I was explaining. They don't want hundreds of thousands of people calling and complaining about the fact that their gas bill is $10 more.
Shouldn't they? It's going to be more than that. But shouldn't they have?
Mine was like 15.
Shouldn't they have sent something way before that? Just a heads up.
I don't know if they knew. How long have they known?
I don't know.
The prices were going to increase just specifically this month and next month and the month after.
Not sure, but I know it's been in the news for a while. So,
well, okay, sure, but I mean, hey, at least they did it. Do you
cook a lot? Are you using your?
Oh yeah, we cook all the time. We cook all.
And yours
the time.
didn't go up a lot, huh?
No, it did. Like I said, $15-$20. I mean, ours is usually it's only like $12 a month. So, I mean, our bill is 25. So it was like what, 12, 13. So it wasn't too bad. And
some people paid a lot more.
Well, yeah, but some people also have I don't know how our heat actually works in the apartment. I'm sure it's natural gas. And maybe that's why it went up a little bit, because it's been colder than usual in Southern California. I'm just happy that they did it. You can't send out a notice like that too early, because then people forget, or they think that it's going to happen that month, and then when it doesn't, they get confused. So there's a timing issue with that letter that went out. Like I said, it's better to give people the heads up, tell them that you're aware of the situation, that these pricing increases are out of our control, because of the open market, stuff like that. I get it. But that's a little bit out of range of what the what
out of range.
I know, right? I did that on purpose. What was the Consumer Protection Agency? Was it the Consumer Protection Agency that was saying all this stuff about the gas ranges?
Yeah.
Okay, so new construction, I can see, yes, maybe outlawing it or banning it, or
Well, I thought that's been happening for a couple of. It's been happening for a couple of years. I thought them not producing holes without.
In Los Angeles County they have been, but it's a cost thing as well. It's a lot of money to run natural gas lines into a home, and especially in a new construction. Like, say it's a new construction in I don't know, like Newhall or something, right? It's not like in the middle of the city. It's close, but it's not like there. So you got to run all the natural gas lines from the nearest big facility. And if it's a new construction that's outside of the bounds of like the city construction and the infrastructure that's already there, it's like, I don't know. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars a mile to run a natural gas line. And then it's like it's tens of thousands of dollars to run it from the street to the house for that final stretch. And people are moving away from cooking just in general. People don't use their kitchens like they used to. So it's interesting. I think that for younger people, maybe electric stoves will work out fine for them. We actually cook though. And man, there is definitely a difference between cooking on electric and cooking on gas stoves. And if you cooking on electric sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
You have it's harder to control the temperatures. You can't get the temperatures down quickly enough. So like, let's say you're trying to do like a Thanksgiving meal, a big meal on a stove with 4 electric burners, right? You can't get the burners to cool down quickly enough. So it's hard to maneuver the dishes that you need to cook correctly You're always pulling stuff off the stove onto hot plates. You got to wait, and you can't cook anything else. You got to wait until that burner cools down, because then you got to start up again and start up slowly if you're trying to saute something. I don't know. I personally don't like electric stoves. But my other issue is, how often are people cooking that they are causing these gases to build up to a point where they're going to be detrimental to their home? Like, do these homes have no ventilation? Do they have, I mean, we live in an apartment and we have a hood that blows out to the outside, and I live in an apartment. So I don't understand. Like, sure, it's gas. It's natural gas. We're not stupid people. We understand that natural gas has byproducts like CO2 and nitrous oxide and stuff like that. I get that. But you would have to have the burner on all day long, all your windows closed up, no central air, no wind, no ventilation at all, and then constantly do that for it to have such an impact on your health as to be horribly detrimental. This is, I haven't done a whole lot of research. I am not a scientist. So, but I have common sense. And when, like I said, Linda and I cook a lot. And when we're cooking dinner, those burners are on for like a half hour. Are you telling me that having a burner on for a half hour with our ventilation on, that's going to cause us to have increases in respiratory illnesses, and it's going to affect our heart health and stuff? Really? Really? Really?
Well, the ones with the anomalies get the news stories, so that's probably where it comes from.
I guess I want to know how much the electric stove and range industry has paid for this study to try to ban gas.
Yeah,
that's what it's. You know what? I'm going conspiracy theory on this.
It's big oven, huh?
It's big. Yeah, the big oven. Big oven is trying to take away our gas stoves. Yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is.
The poor Maytag. That's what's happening. All right. Well, cook on, brothers and sisters. Today's show is brought to you by
Because I Have to podcast. When living your dream is the only option. With Julie Slater and Jason Friday. Because I Have to delves into the lives of people daring to pursue their passions. Available where you get your podcasts.
All right. The FAA and the NTSB are investigating how an American Airlines flight apparently cut across the runway at JFK just as a Delta Airlines flight was starting its takeoff roll. Here's more details.
At first, the radio conversation sounded routine.
Runway 4 left, everything up. Left take out, runway 4 left, Delta 1943.
A Delta Airlines 737 cleared for departure. But seconds later, controllers saw an American Airlines 777 instructed to taxi across a different runway, suddenly cutting right across the path of the Delta jet. Controllers urgently ordered both planes to stop.
Delta 1943, cancel takeoff plans. Delta 1943, cancel takeoff plans. Rejecting.
American 106 Heavy, American 106 Heavy, hold position. American 106 Heavy, hold position.
The Delta jet, traveling at 115 miles per hour, was just seconds from impact. Slamming on the brakes, it stopped 1,000 feet short of the American plane.
Ooh, the Delta 1943.
Passenger Brian Healy was on the Delta flight.
I felt then adrenaline, and there was total quiet on the plane, and then there was relief when the plane came to a stop.
Where was the miscommunication between the American crew and the air traffic controllers?
A very close call that reminds some experts of the horrific runway crash in 1977 involving two fully loaded 747s in Tenerife that killed 583 people and led to an overhaul of runway and radio protocols. Today, runway status lights and automated warning systems alert pilots and controllers of potential conflicts. Retired JFK controller Steve Abraham says this time, thankfully, the system worked just in time.
There was no chance that the Delta airplane would have lifted off the runway and been able to overfly the American jet if they had been in the same spot on the runway at the same time.
What a scary thing to happen. And imagine if there was only one pilot in those planes. I mean, add some more danger to it. What's going on at JFK Airport, man?
I don't know, but I can guarantee you that the Republican Party is going to blame Pete Buttigieg for this.
Oh, he's in charge of all wheels and deals. He's in trouble. Yeah.
No, this is good. I want to know how the dearth of air traffic controllers might have contributed to this problem, because we are having
dearth. Explain that word, dearth.
I'm sorry, I'm using college words.
I knew you were going to use a big word, but then now I need to know what that means in order to understand.
Lack of. There's there's
not enough of them up there.
No, like
I think that guy handled it pretty well. He kind of panicked and abort.
No. Sure. My thing is, it's like how do people understand? Like, I was listening to this very intently, and this is what it sounded like to me.
That actually is really good impersonation. It's like,
well,
you got to know airport speak, man. You had to have a drone class or two to figure that out.
If it was me, I would be very, very articulate. Delta 137, cancel flight, take off. You like not Delta 137. Like, how do you even translate that in the heat of the moment, especially if you're the pilot trying to take off? Man. There's a lot of stuff going on.
I may have understood you better the second time you said that, Yeah.
No, you know what? Good for them for capturing this. Yeah. Good for those automated systems. However, I still want to know, like, were these air traffic controllers working 12-hour shifts? Were they at the end of a 12-hour shift? Why are we letting security personnel work 12-hour shifts? Like, I don't get that. I have a pretty chill job. I work from home and I do video game community management, promotions, and marketing, right? I'm not trying to save lives. I'm not like, making sure planes are landing safely or anything. And if I have to work like a 10-hour day working from home on my computer, I am wiped out. And this is me just doing stuff that is not consequential in the lives of literally anybody. I don't understand why cops, nurses, doctors, air traffic controllers, why they work 12-hour shifts. It's dangerous. If I am wiped out, working from home, sitting at my desk, hanging out with my cat and my wife, and I work 10 hours in a day and I'm like wiped out, I can only imagine what a 12-hour shift for an air traffic controller must be like.
Pretty tough, man. That may have something to do with it. Maybe we'll get an investigation on the matter, but probably not.
There's going to be an investigation for a.
They would have if they bumped into each other, but I think
a close call like this is still going to warrant an investigation.
Isn't Mayor Pete like super busy right now? He's going to open up another investigation. Like, isn't he still like? Isn't there?
Okay, first, let's stop calling him Mayor Pete because he's no longer a mayor. He is a cabinet secretary. Okay, he is not a mayor. Like, come on, let's give this guy his due. He is a cabinet secretary. Are you going to call I know that people think that this is an endearing term. Oh, he came from the small town of South Bend in Indiana. He was a mayor there. It's called Mayor Pete. No, it's kind of derogatory.
I get your point now. Yeah,
he is Secretary Buttigieg. It's like, it would be like calling, and I know a lot of people out there don't like Hillary Clinton, but when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, it would be like calling her like Mayor Hillary, or like like Bill's wife. No, she got there of her own accord. She is Secretary Clinton, so it's Secretary Buttigieg, not Mayor Pete.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just me. I don't know if Mayor, he probably likes it. He probably isn't like all up in arms about it, but that's why I'm here. I get up in arms for people so they don't have to.
That's your job.
That's my job.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens there. I'm sure more news will come out of the airplane world. All right. And Congress is on the verge of, are you listening, Joe? A political showdown after Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned lawmakers that the U.S. is projected to reach its debt limit tomorrow.
We're going to turn now to a critical time in Washington. Congress is on the verge of a political showdown after the Treasury Secretary warned lawmakers that the U.S. is projected to reach its debt limit on Thursday. ABC's Em Nguyen has the latest now from Washington. Em, good morning to you.
Good morning, Gio. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is urging Congress to quickly pass legislation to either raise the federal debt limit or temporarily suspend it. And that deadline is January 19th. That's Thursday. And Yellen says before the government will have to resort to, quote, extraordinary measures to avoid defaulting on the nation's more than $30 trillion borrowing capacity. Failure to address the debt ceiling, she says, would cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy. Some analysts suggesting a default could crash financial markets and potentially lead to a credit downgrade. And if the issue drags on, it could lead to a partial government shutdown. Raising the limit does not mean more spending, but rather just allows the government to finance existing obligations, including tax refunds, Social Security, and Medicare payments. Debate over the issue will almost certainly trigger a major political showdown in the House between Republicans, who now have control, and Democratic lawmakers. House Republicans have pushed back, expressing interest in using these negotiations to cut spending. And the debt ceiling was raised three times under the Trump administration without issue when Democrats held the majority. And now Democratic leaders say there's no reason Republicans can't do the same.
Okay, so Joe, I really need you to explain things to me in Funkhauser terms. So I understand what's going down in DC, but how does it affect my wallet in particular?
It's going to affect everybody's wallet in the entire world, unfortunately. This is really stupid. It's a very frustrating subject for me because we don't. Well, here's the thing. It's an unnecessary law. We don't need to have a debt ceiling. It is counterproductive to running our government and putting together budgets, because like the news story said, increasing the debt limit does not mean that we are increasing spending. It just means that we are able to finance the debt that we currently have and the payment obligations that the United States currently has from past administrations, including the Trump administration, paying for the debt incurred then. Not for new spending. It doesn't say like, oh, hey, the debt ceiling is now increased $1 trillion. Let's spend another $1 trillion. That's not what the debt ceiling's about. So it's pretty stupid because the Republican Party uses it as a cudgel, and they use it to try to force things in spending that aren't necessarily related to financing past debt. So all this stuff it's really stupid, and it just shows the hypocrisy of the Republican Party. When Trump was in office, the Republicans raised the debt ceiling without any fanfare at all. When Democrats are in the minority and there's a Republican president, the Democrats know not to hold the debt ceiling hostage because it's counterproductive. You don't want the United States to lose its AAA rating. And we did. The last time that they shut down the government, it was I think Ted Cruz did it in 2011, 2012, some stupid thing like that. And we lost. We went down to an A-. And that increased borrowing rates for literally everybody in the entire world. The world. Because the United States is the engine of the global economy. And so many different countries use the US dollar as the staple against their currency. So when the United States, basically tell the world, we're not going to pay our debts, figure it out, the world freaks out because we're supposed to be the stable economy in the global world economy. And if we start getting all freaky about being all up in arms about paying debt, or we got to get our spending under control, the Republicans like to conflate these things. They're not the same. You know, if they have an issue with spending, I get it. They want smaller government. They don't believe in bigger government. At least traditional Republicans do. These firebrands in the Republican Party literally want to blow up the government. They don't care. They don't like our system of government. They don't. They want to blow it up. They do this on purpose. So less and less people in our country believe in our system of government. They want it to all come crashing down. So they are going to use this. They are going to screw the United States and they're going to screw the world just because they're corporate overlords and Peter Thiel and the Koch brothers and all these other billionaires who give them money tell them to. Because they're not here to govern. They don't care. The Lauren Boeberts, the Marjorie Three Names, the Matt Gatz of the world, they don't care about governing. They are getting paid from all these conservative billionaires and grassroots donors who have basically told them, we don't like the U.S. government. We don't like how it works. We want you to blow it up. So they're doing exactly what their constituents and the people that pay them want them to do. It's not going to go well for everybody else, though.
Okay, Joe. Well, I just have one question. Mm-hmm. Will the sun rise tomorrow and will it set?
I mean, sure, but people are going to be poorer for it.
Oh.
I mean, it's like the world's going to be fine. Like if we're talking about like just the Earth as an ecosystem, it's going to be fine. Humans might not be fine. The world might have to like get through some kind of disaster that is human induced. But let's say if all humans were to die off right now in 100,000 years, the world would be fine. It would reset. The world doesn't need us. Earth doesn't need us. It probably would be better off without all 8 billion humans on it, destroying the planet and taking all of its natural resources away. You know, it'd probably be a whole lot better for it. But if we're talking about the world that we live in and humans inhabit, yes, it's going to suck if the debt ceiling thing doesn't get worked out. But I don't see how this small group of far right-wing Republicans are going to capitulate. Look at the speaker vote we just had. McCarthy was like all over himself, falling over backward to give concessions to this group. And every concession that he gave, it wasn't enough. They would say, hey, we want committee assignments. We want good ones. We want to be heads of committees. And he's like, sure. And like, oh, we want to be heads of committees. That's going to be our last thing. McCarthy said, sure, you could do that. And they're like, you know what? It's not good enough. We want more. They're going to continue. They're going to do that same exact thing with the debt ceiling. And what's going to be enough? How many concessions are going to be enough for these people to say, yes, that's enough? What it's going to come down to is the same thing that happened in the speaker vote. And they haven't really reported on this a lot. Those holdouts only changed their vote for McCarthy once their billionaire backers like Peter Thiel and the Koch brothers actually got them on the phone and said, stop screwing this up and get on board or you get no more money. That's actually what happened. That is why these people changed their votes and finally voted for McCarthy or voted absent so he could get the speakership. They got calls from their billionaire backers who told them, get in line, you're making us look stupid. If you don't vote for McCarthy, you're not getting any more money from us. That was enough to get 15 of those 20 on board. The same thing is probably going to happen here. They're going to screw up the debt ceiling so much that we're going to lose our full faith and credit. The World Bank is going to drop us down from a AAA rating to like an A- or at worst, like if we go down below an A, the United States, that's going to be awful. You think inflation was bad now? Oh, wait until the Republicans blow up this debt ceiling thing. The prices are going to go through the roof. Borrowing rates are going to be insane. Because what bank outside of what bank is going to say, oh yeah, I want to give money to the U.S. They're good for it. They're going to pay us back. Because no, they're going to break that trust with all these banks and all of these other world governments. And that's not going to work out well for them. I don't see how they get anything that is going to be helpful to their own cause. They want to be disruptive. This is their end goal. Their end goal is to be disruptive. So they're going to have to get a call from like their higher ups, their billionaire backers to get over all this stuff. Luckily, though, this doesn't have to happen immediately, and we do have time. Janet Yellen is telling everybody, hey, tomorrow, Thursday, that's when we hit our limit. She has quote unquote, extraordinary measures that she can take, that the U.S. can take to keep servicing our debt outside of raising the debt limit. That gives the U.S. another 6 to 9 months of being able to service our debt without going into default anywhere, or being late on a payment to a specific bank or a specific country, things like that. So we have a little time.
Okay.
I still don't think it's going to be enough, because I don't think that these people have any realistic goals, or they don't have a realistic end game outside of being disruptive. So I don't know what their end game is outside of that.
Well, we're going to find another step out tomorrow. That's for dang old sure. At the end of the economy day, what's that, like 2:00 our time? We'll know if we're still a country and we can still use our credit cards. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, but sure. Yeah, tomorrow we'll find out if we can use our credit cards.
And we'll be back then tomorrow. You're listening to the Barry Funkhauser Show.